Hello everyone, this is Fi. We're checking out Cyber Justice. This is a game I've not played before. We're gonna give it a play test and see if we can give some useful feedback. I've got the game page open here. It says Cyber Justice is a cyberpunk turn-based RPG where you play as Zima, a cyber-enhanced judge, jury, and executioner. Investigate a political murder and bring justice to the last kingdom in the galaxy. The Cyber Justice demo features a deep and rewarding turn-based battle system, character customization, shops, and other miscellaneous features like save loading, configuration options, and a glossary. This demo strips away the story and exploration elements in favor of a basic survival mode. Goes on to have another paragraph here about the combat, other features, and it says Cyber Justice is still in pre-alpha development. Art, assets, and UI are placeholder. If you'd like to use this demo to gain feedback on the combat mechanics and UI, please let us know what you think. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna jump into this. The music is a little bit on the loud side. I turned it down a little bit, maybe we'll turn it down just a smidge more. I always have to kind of guess how it's going to turn out in the end here, but it's not the loudest thing I've played from these playtests that I do, but it is a little bit on the spicy side there, so you might want to just try comparing it to some other things you might have installed. But yeah, hopefully it sounds okay, and we're going to go ahead and drop the overlay. I've not seen anything past the screen. Let's see. I actually lost my... Okay, now this is weird. So the window for the game is not in the taskbar. It's like not visible. Okay, so I can alt tab to it. All right, now it's here. Okay, so that's a little weird. I don't know what would cause that to happen. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything past the screen. The thing that jumped out to me immediately, this text is kind of silly looking. This line right here, I can read what it says, but it looks a little bit spastic there. Press F10 for debug, continue new game options, exit game in closed pre-alpha. Everything's subject to change. So I noticed that the cursor kind of bends a little when you go to the edge of the screen here. So that's quite interesting. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. If you're hearing any noise in the background, it might be my cat doing stuff. In any case, let's check out the options here. This is... again, maybe some placeholderiness, but in my opinion, this layout is a little bit busy in terms of just looking at it. Like, everything is kind of the same. It's all the same color, all the same size. I mean, this text is technically bigger than this, but like, everything is commanding the same amount of attention. There's subtle things you can do to kind of divide this up more so that your eye can kind of naturally land on different things, and use different sort of brightness levels of the text and things like that. But let's not linger on this too much. What do we have here? We've got pixel interpolation. Interesting. Particle quality VSync is off. Display mode is full screen. Transition speed is slow. Battle speed, blood level, HUD, text speed. Master volume, music volume, sound effects volume, background effects volume. Okay. So let's go ahead and click on new game. I don't know what would happen if I click on continue. Actually, let's try that. Just nothing, I guess. Yeah. Oh, there's actually a little sound effect. And let's go ahead and click on new. Please create a name for your Just Administration account. Enter to continue. Chapter 0, Another Night. Oh wow, okay. We're in like Home Depot. We're Team Big Guys, and welcome to our demo. Our game is a cyberpunk RPG with a complex battle system we've been developing for years as a hobby. This text is plenty fast. That's not a criticism, I'm just noting it, like I don't see a need to turn it up. We're a ragtag group of virgins made up of 2 BRs with 140 ping, Fat Bald Bastard, and Raster. Whatever that means. Oh, what the heck? This person's here. We'll now leave you with this wacky and progressive cyberpunk lady to explain our game to you. I am not a nerd speaking through an anime girl. The purpose of this demo is to gauge how fun and immediately understandable our battle system is. There's no tutorial for now, so you'll have to figure it out on your own. Sounds good to me. The gist of it is that you have 2 active time bars that define when you can issue commands and when the action is actually performed. The battles are entirely focused on you using the many wildly different actions at your disposal to their best to overcome your enemies. Alright, I'm curious, is there a way to like go back in the dialogue? What is this cursor for? There's all this stuff up here. Apparently it's tied to the F keys and maybe... Oh, it looks like right... Is that right button? Like mouse button? When I see RB and LB, I think like right bumper, left bumper, like you'd have on the Xbox controller. Right mouse button is usually like right RMB or something like that. LMB, RMB, you know what I mean. Oh yeah, so RT and LT would be left trigger, right? So this must be... For some reason, we have like Xbox buttons and then we have X... Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. For some reason, I didn't look at all these before I started talking, so when I saw like the X and Y, I was thinking that the keys on the keyboard, for some reason, I didn't even realize that those were also buttons on the controller. So yeah, obviously these are all X button controller things, but also the F keys for the keyboard. Sorry to waste my time on this. Figure out how this game works. We've got currency, ammo, and life. Interesting. Knowing how to interrupt or gimp your enemies and even change your actions depending on the situation is vital for success. Also, there's a kill arrest thing going on. The rewards are different and the story will change based on how good or bad cop you are. By the way, you can save the game at any time. Just click on the buttons above. Do it right now even, as game overs boot you back to the title screen. So I assume that means these? Okay, so the cursor, when the cursor changes, it's a little weird because like when it changes to these weird icon things, I can't really tell what it's... it becomes ambiguous, like which part of the cursor I'm supposed to click with, like what I'm supposed to aim the pointer at. So like when it's an arrow, obviously it's the tip of the arrow, but when it's something else, I don't know if it's like the bottom right or whatever. So that's a little weird. I mean, I can guess that it's probably the top left, but it's like I have to think about it. It's kind of weird. So we have up and down for these. That's very strange. Presumably up is to save, and then this is to load. And when I say strange, I mean strange isn't the right word. It's not intuitive in my opinion, so I don't think I don't want to say the average person. I think it's likely some people would get confused about this, not understand what that means. So I think you could do better in terms of making it very clear which one means save and which one means load. It can be particularly... So in this case, it's not really a problem if somebody clicks on the wrong thing, I guess, because it does at least have a label up here. It would be bad if somebody wanted to save the game and maybe just went too quickly or something, and they like did this and then they like tried to click on something and ended up like loading your previous save or something. Like, you know, that might not actually work out that way, but just thinking about it, what could be possible. I don't know what the A, 1, 2, 3 and what the S is. Is that like autosave? Maybe that's what that means. And then these are the normal saves. Again, you could probably be a little bit more clear in some of these things. Just, you know, be more explicit, because there's usually not a real reason not to. And if anyone is confused, it's like, you know, why even bother doing something that even 5% of people might get confused by if you can just make it explicit and then nobody gets confused by it, that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I would just put like auto 1, 2, and 3 and that kind of thing, but okay, so it seems to work, and I guess that's delete over here maybe. So I guess we did that. Oh, this looks like a settings. Oh, that's nice. And then that's maybe to quit the game. Oh, chat log. Nice. Okay. So I was wondering if you had this kind of thing because it kind of has this VN sort of feel. And yeah, with when you start delivering this much text, it's nice to have this kind of thing. Two active time bars that define when you can issue commands, when the action is actually performed. So I guess we have to click up here as X is sort of hiding. Maybe it's not that. I guess maybe click on this again. So I don't know why there's even an X up here if that's not... I don't know if that's just not implemented or what that is, but... Alright, so here's the glossary. So I'm guessing this is going to give some... Okay, some information about how to play and stuff. And this is inventory. Inventory again. So we have two different things with the same label up here, but... Looks like we have some augs. That looks like a club, I guess, and there's a gun. We've got an arm for some reason. Yeah, not really sure what all these are. Like, this looks like maybe melee weapons, and this is maybe projectile weapons. But then it's like you have an arm, like, that's kind of different. I don't know. A foot. Alright, you can also check out all the other buttons. Yeah, I just did that, so there you go. Alright, I guess we're playing the game. Alright, hostiles detected. So there's some kind of active time element, which is... Oh, it's paused at the moment. Gosh, okay, it's getting louder. I gotta turn this... I gotta turn things down here. Alright, so way too loud, but... Alright, so this is battle paused at the moment. So it mentions some kind of active time element, which unfortunately is kind of terrible for this format of playtesting because I tend to just stop and talk for like at least half of the video. So that can be really problematic if you have these kind of time tension elements. So that's just something to be mindful of. I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll find out. But at the moment it's paused, so I don't know how frequently it pauses or if you can pause it manually. It might have mentioned that at one point, but I just, you know, it's already out of my memory now. So we have aim, gun, dodge, strategy, melee attack techniques, use item movement, and arrest. Reload is here. I hover over here, it says Thug, and then this says Zima. So apparently I'm on the right, which is a little strange because generally the expectation is that you're on the left and the enemy is on the right. At least to my mind is the case. I'm not sure if there's... I don't know if that's true for like all cultures or whatever, but yeah, it seems odd to me. So all of our stats are 10, all of their stats are 5. Take aim so you can shoot. Action speed is medium. Dodge all enemy attacks while this action is being performed. Alright, so we have some meters here. I have no idea what they mean. It'd be nice to at least have some sort of a label attached to those. Intimidate, taunt, and wait. Maintains your aim. Interesting. So when it says action speed, I'm guessing that's like how much of the time goes by before you can use another thing. So if time is a resource, then it uses less of it. We have intimidate and taunt. Alright, less aggressive, more aggressive. Yep. Interesting. I don't know why you would want them to be more or less aggressive at the moment, but costs only a quarter of your turn bar. Alright. So at the moment I get the sense that you know, all of these different things you can do all have a cost that is time, but they're mostly kind of vague about it. So I guess the only way to really know how much time it takes is to learn through experience. action speed medium. I don't know if medium is always the same amount, and then like there's medium and fast, and there's one that said only a quarter. So I don't know if there's something other than, oh, this one's this slow. Okay. Yeah, so don't know what those mean in context here, but I mean exactly in terms of how much that works out to mathematically. But I guess we just start with the first thing. We've got blue things going on here. All the meters are filling up quite fast. All right, so maybe the white is like the turn, and then the blue is the progress of the current action. So we're waiting for this to fill up, so we have to go into the next turn for that to happen. That's my assumption here. So we can continue, or we can, presumably this is like cancel, try to do something else. Now if I do this, can I change my mind and then go back to this? Yes. Okay, perfect. Very nice. Okay, so that finished. Okay, so what I didn't notice, the blue thing filled up, but the, okay, so the white bar, I'm trying to make sense of the white bar. So the blue bar, it moved to like here, but the white bar was full, so I had to like choose another action. And then it moved the rest of the way here, but then it's kind of like I would almost expect the white bar to like not fill up all the way because that action finished. So does that mean like okay, so does that mean every action has a number of turns it takes in like a whole number, in whole numbers? So even though the blue was like 1 1/3 turn or something, it ends up being 2 turns anyways. Like, is that what's going on? Because this is already full again. Is that what? I don't know. I don't really understand. I don't know if it has to do with their bar, how much their bar filled up. But you know, obviously, if it always rounds up, then it might as well be that everything is a whole number rather than a fraction in the first place. So I'm not sure what the idea is there. But I guess we can fire the gun now. We get to aim. Normal hit, half hit, 2/3 chance, 2/3 chance. So normal. Okay, so when I read half hit chance, my first thought, I guess, is that it's like a 50% chance, but then it's like, well, this, for that to be true, then this would have to be 100% chance, but it doesn't suggest that. So maybe I assume this is probably half of whatever the hit percent chance is, but I don't know what that percent chance is. So I feel like I'm missing that chunk of information. Like if it's 100% if I do this, then that might change, you know, what choice I would make versus if it was like, if the base was, you know, 50% or something, then maybe I would choose something different. I don't know. Oh, okay. Oh, you have to click on that and then choose a target. I see. So this is accounting for the fact that there might be more than one target, I guess. That makes sense. Okay, so now I can see the chance. 95, 50, 65, or either of these. Interesting. All right, so when all the meters are going up, obviously you don't want this to go like really slow while the players are sitting here doing nothing. But on the other hand, when everything's happening kind of quickly, I can't necessarily follow everything just with my eyes. So I wonder if that's somehow going to be a problem. I don't know, because it's like it's like the game's trying to give me some kind of information about how things are progressing, but it happens so quickly, and I can't really like remember just from like a 1 second long animation that's like happening in multiple places simultaneously, like 3 different places, where they were before and where they are now, and that kind of thing. Given that, one thing you could consider is having some kind of indication. I don't know how you do this exactly, but I'll just give you the idea, like some kind of indication of where the meter was before the turn progressed, and then like where, of course, you see where it ends up, so that way the player can see visually like the distance that everything has moved. That might help. Yeah, as it is, I'm not entirely wrapping my head around this in terms of the time passing. Okay, so I mean, I can kind of get in a fuzzy way that it mentions something about like interrupting different actions, like if the character is starting to do something, then you might be able to fit in a quicker action to interrupt it. And, that all makes sense. And I've actually kind of, nothing ever came of it, but I explored a bit some of these sorts of concepts with this sort of turn-based combat where it's I don't know how you describe it, more of a I guess there's a more of a simultaneous element between the different turns rather than it being very discrete and individual. So I can kind of see where some of these ideas come from, but nevertheless, yeah, I still haven't quite figured out the way the time progresses here. Like, I guess this meter fills up every time, but then theirs go at a different rate. And that does make sense because usually you show like the enemies relative to you, I guess, or maybe whoever's faster. Like if they were much faster, then maybe the game would. Well, no, I don't think it would stop when theirs fills up. I guess they would just do an action, and then you would. I'm guessing at this point maybe it only pauses when your meter fills up there. All right, so we've got fire gun dodge strategy. I don't remember what they were doing. They were doing something before. I think I might have like canceled their action by shooting them. So here's another thing. Along the same lines as what I said about the meters, you could also have like a log, like a history sort of thing where, whatever happens, you just like put it in the little log thing, and the player can just read, make it all very explicit, like enemy started doing X, and then Zima shot them, and then enemy stopped, or whatever, or they flinched, or whatever. And you could just like list these things out, and it makes it so much easier for the player to understand, not only just to see everything that happens, like to grasp everything as it's happening, but also just to be able to look back and get that sense of like where things were a moment ago, and what your immediate action, the consequences of it, of how things kind of turn out and that kind of thing. Hopefully that made sense. Something that would help a lot. We got intimidate, taunt, wait. It's because I went into strategy here. So I don't think I checked my equipment before, and I think it was kind of empty. I guess I have a gun. Maybe I didn't look closely enough. It's curious to me. I did find these buttons are over here, but there's no way to check what equipment I have equipped, I guess, while I'm in the battle, which is that. That's kind of unfortunate, because that's the kind of thing that affects stuff, So yeah, I mean, that could also just be due to the earliness of the demo or whatever, but that seems like something you definitely want to have at some point here. We got use item, grenade. I don't see any mention. Okay, this. Oh, okay. So when I go, this description right here says action speed medium, but these don't, when I hover over these, it doesn't put the action speed in there, so that's interesting. Take cover, crouch down, dive down. I guess we're just gonna keep shooting this person. So the fact that I'm already aimed, I can just keep firing, apparently. Okay, yeah, so I guess the one thing that made me a little confused about this from before is the fact that, like, after you finish the action, even though you still have time left, you don't get to squeeze anything in there. Which again always seems to suggest that everything is rounded up in terms of how many turns it takes. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's right or not. I can't quite figure that out. But yeah, you would think if your action finishes before the white bar finishes, that means you can do another action, right? Because you're not doing anything at that point. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the idea is there. I kind of wonder, like, to me it seems like it would make sense if, like, the game paused when your action finished rather than when this white bar finishes, because that seems to be the logical moment when you can plug in another action. Like, you can take your next actions when the blue thing finishes. Only exception is, of course, if you have a longer action, there is this moment where you can change your mind about it. Like, you can stop doing it and choose to do something else. See, I'm not really sure how that should work. It seems like maybe, like, whichever one finishes first or something. I don't know, but yeah, maybe if I don't figure it out by the end of the playtest, maybe you can explain that particular element to me, what the logic behind that is. But for now, it's a little confusing to me. I guess you just keep shooting this person. So they're dead, I guess. Now, there's supposed to be, like, an element where you can, like, get them to surrender, I guess, and then you can put them under arrest, something like that, instead of killing them, which gives you good guy points, I guess. We're going to the town screen. Go on patrol. Right, so that was obviously like a barely functional brain dead enemy kind of thing, where there was no depth to it. This is kind of cool. Can I? Right, so unfortunately, my first thought is, like, can I scroll around this map? It looks cool, and, like, this looks like something you could interact with more and, like, move it around or something. But maybe this art asset isn't that girthy that you can just zoom around it. I don't know. Or for all I know, it's just placeholder or whatever. But it would be cool to be able to interact with this. We got equipment, general shop, go on patrol. So I'm not, like, moving a character around. At least not in this build of the game. Barter, customize, restock, cancel. Drag and drop between the shop and inventory equipment windows to buy and sell. Hover over anything to see a detailed explanation. Press the right mouse button or escape to go back. Alright, yeah, everything seems well developed in terms of the interface and stuff. I do notice, okay, so this is a little funky. So if I click and drag this, you can see, like, when my mouse kind of wanders off of this bar, it doesn't keep following. So I'm just keeping the mouse button held down. It's pretty annoying. So I think what you want is just to kind of follow the Y coordinate of the mouse in this instance, instead of losing it when you go off the bar. Now that looks like a torso, which is a little weird. Increases endurance, okay. I have no idea what that is, like the TR8. Upgraded torso, I don't know. Rusty sword. Why would you have a rusty sword in this kind of game? I don't know. We have hands. We have arms. Increases intelligence. Displays enemies' money. So I'm guessing these are Augs or whatever, maybe. If I buy these, can I just plug in whatever I want to? Is it that kind of thing where you just collect a lot of these and, you know, your typical RPG, you plug in whatever you want? I mean, most RPGs have like equipment, but these are Augs, so there's, without having played the game, there's maybe an expectation that if it's an Aug, it's kind of a more permanent thing, right? It's sort of like, you know, it's sort of a surgical alteration of the body or whatever. Like if you have something implanted in your brain, you might not just pull it back out again and put it in your inventory. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that doesn't necessarily need to be that way. I'm just saying that's kind of the intuitive element to it, I guess. But I don't see. I mean, it does have these different things, like maybe you have gun or a melee weapon. These icons are a little small, but oh, I think this was the melee weapons maybe, and this is just an arm for some reason. I don't know. We have plenty of money to play with. I don't know. I kind of hate the names of these things. Are just like numbers and letters. It's sort of like, it's the kind of thing that would appeal more to a robot than to a human brain. You know what I mean? It's just not a very descriptive title for an object. So it's annoying because it's like, I just see this and it's just like a bunch of gibberish and I'm kind of forced to read the description to have any idea what it is, kind of thing. I mean, there's a visual icon, so that's helpful, but oh, this is even worse. What the heck? It's a gun of some kind. Shotgun. Spread damage evenly between all enemies. Bad for casualty reports. That makes sense. Alright, so I don't necessarily feel like going through everything in the list and trying to compare all the items. Given the way I feel about this, if you have like a shop, I would suggest limiting the number of items that are available. Because if you have a lot, it's just like too much for the player to want to go through everything. To compare everything. So you can kind of work around that by just having less stuff at any given shop, and then, you know, every time the player encounters this, then they only have like a limited number of stuff that they have to look through, and it just kind of works better, I think. Why is this one red and this one's not? Oh, decreases agility. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know why there's a red one. Some of them are red. I don't know what that means. Like I feel like it might indicate like I can't use it or something, but oh, so I guess this is what I have. I have a CSD rod and a Beretta for the gun. So it's always nice in these games if you have some kind of help to compare things. Now, at least this is on the same screen, but I still have to kind of, it's like I have to hover over to here, and then I have to look with my eyes all the way down to the bottom left. And I have to look all the way up to the top right of the screen to see like how those numbers compare to the bottom left, and I have to look back up to the top left to see like what the price is. And you know, it's a bit much in a certain way in terms of the friction of the UI, I guess. But you know, a really nice thing is just if you hover over something, it has some kind of element where it tries to put the numbers next to each other. So in this case, I guess if you're going to stick with the idea of putting all your description down here, then maybe you can put what you have equipped down here to compare it to. Just put like another rectangle or something next to this. So if you hover over like the rusty sword, then it would show what your melee thing is, and this other rectangle or whatever, side by side. You know, it's really nice to have that kind of comparison. Doubles melee hit when disarmed. Does that mean when the enemy is disarmed or when you are disarmed? I don't know what that means. Wow. Oh, okay. Interesting. So on average, you'd get off 2 shots per normal shot or whatever, but it's unreliable. Could do more or less. So yeah, it's kind of hard to compare everything here, I guess. And like I said before, there's just like too many things to compare right now, so I don't really feel like doing this, to be honest. But just a 17 damage versus my 10. The accuracy is a little less. The speed is actually greater. Allows for faster movement. Attacks cost only half of the turn bar. So I assume that effect at the bottom there is describing something that's particular to this weapon. So this is something I noticed because like if I look at the shotgun, it has this note at the bottom: shotgun spread damage evenly between all enemies. This is something that applies to all shotguns, presumably, but if I look at this, it has like another thing at the bottom there that I don't know if that applies to all void swords or not, or if it's just applying to this one specifically. I did notice there's, I don't know, sometimes you have like an extra space and like an extra line, an empty line in there. I don't know if that means anything. Like in this one. Yeah, I don't know if that means anything or not. So there's a little bit of ambiguity here where it's not clear whether the description is applying to all of these types of items or if it's specific to this one, that kind of thing. So apparently, what does that mean? So if I compare the Rusty Sword with the Rusty Void Sword, it has this extra effect, I guess, that it says allows for faster movement. Attacks cost only half of the turn bar. But it says attack speed is 2.2 seconds, where this is 2.07 seconds. So first of all, what is faster movement? Because the word movement is ambiguous to me. I don't know what that means. Like, does that mean specifically with attacking with the sword, or does it mean like all movement? You know what I mean? And also when it says attacks only cost half the turn bar, wouldn't the... I don't know, does that mean all attacks? Or does that mean attacks with the Rusty Sword? And yeah, when it says half of the turn bar, but wouldn't that be what attack speed is referring to, is how much of the turn bar it takes? But it has this number, 2.20 seconds for the attack speed, which I'm guessing isn't the same thing as half of the turn bar. Like, this is all kind of confusing to me. I guess the word is ambiguous. There's a lot of information that's somewhat ambiguous here. I don't know. I mean, this has a higher price and everything. It looks kind of like a... Apparently it's the most expensive item here, so it's probably the most powerful one in some sense. Let's, do I just drag this in here? Buy and sell. So if I buy this and I want to resell it, do I lose money? Apparently not. It goes back up, right? Now why? I guess that... Okay, this filters things. Interesting. I guess that's good to have. That's helpful. I can like not hear the music at all anymore because I turned it down so much. So there's a lot of disparity apparently between the volume levels here. Can I just... Oh, okay. Now I don't know if like you can always sell things for their full cost, or if this is just because I just purchased it, because that's usually like a nice thing you can do is to make sure if the player changes their mind about a purchase, they don't end up incurring a cost where they're selling it back for less than they bought it for and that kind of thing. But whatever. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like I don't want to like buy everything because I'm going to be too OP to play the game properly, but maybe start battle grappling an enemy. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, but I don't feel like I necessarily want to fiddle with it without having like experienced the game properly yet. You know what I mean? It's like in a finished game, you'd probably want the player to experience a lot more of the combat and everything before you throw like all of these items at them. So I feel like maybe I just shouldn't buy too much stuff here. All right, and how do I get out of this? By the way, there's still an X up here. I'm pretty sure I can just hit escape or right mouse button. Okay. All right, sorry that kind of took so long, but I'm not going to spend as long on this one. Looks like there's a lot less stuff in general. We've got buy 48 bullets, recover all health, sell 12 bullets. So, okay, here's my ammo. All right, I got more. Medical spray, I don't think I need any of this. I already have this kind of stuff. I guess this is my equipment. I'm a little confused as to why. Do you only have 6 equipment storage slots? Is that the whole stash? I guess that makes sense. I mean, I was thinking this is kind of chunky, like these are awfully big for individual items. You know, you go from looking at kind of a nice list like this to this big chunky things, but I guess it kind of makes sense if you can... I mean, you might be able to shrink this down somewhat just so it's like a little bit easier to look at without you like, you know, leaning back in your chair because it's so in your face. But I can appreciate you get the description and everything right in there. All right, get out of here. Let's go on patrol. We're going to fight. We see a strange drone following you. I guess. Random drone. Alright, so my turn is first. I guess we're going for the gun again. Try aiming, and then they're also aiming, so... So if I shoot him, maybe it'll interact or interrupt his shot, or maybe not, I don't know. So this is interesting. My enemy clearly doesn't have a head, hand, or feet. So that can disarm them. Head is massive damage. Feet is moderate damage. Cancel actions and knockdown. High damage, normal hit chance. Alright, so yeah, presumably, you know, in the final version or whatever, this might change. The labels of these might change depending on the context of the type of enemy you're fighting, sort of like in Fallout or whatever. But yeah, so apparently, I mean, just shooting the body, it doesn't say that it's going to interrupt anything. I do find it mildly annoying that when I have a thing selected, I can't see the description of that anymore until I click on something else, and I have to hover back over this. go ahead and shoot the body, just see what happens. So all right, that was confusing. I couldn't really tell what was happening here. What I guess what I kind of expected was I seemed to be kind of ahead of the drone just by a little bit. So I think what I thought was going to happen is that I was going to shoot him first, and then like from there we're just going to see what he might do afterwards. But it seemed like as soon as I clicked that, then like he suddenly started shooting me, and then I think I shot him like at the end. But it was hard to see, like visually I couldn't really tell exactly what was happening very well. So I think there's probably a better way you can represent this stuff, because it seems pretty important that you clearly visualize stuff that's going on here. So this is kind of a thing in turn-based games. It's usually you have to really be very particular about like everything that happens. You have to like stop and have like a really clear animation so the player knows, okay, this is about to happen, or this is what's happening at the moment, and then like the animation plays out, and then it moves on to the next thing, and then the next thing happens, and it's like everything just kind of takes its turn in terms of giving feedback to the player. So what you have right now is like as soon as the time starts going back again, there's a lot of stuff going on all of a sudden that's not really clear. And there might be, I mean, you might be able to get away with doing it this way if you have much clearer animations. Like that might be fine. I guess the alternative would be you actually, like when somebody's about to take an action, even if it's during the quote unquote active time portion, you might actually pause and have them do something, and then have time keep going, so that the player wouldn't be doing anything during the pause. They would just be watching the animation, but it would just like stop and say, okay, it's my turn to do something, and then I'll shoot them or whatever. And then after this animation is done, then the meters keep going back up again until it's time for the player to do something else down here. Does that make sense? So yeah, I guess there's two ways to do it. That would be a way that would really emphasize every individual thing. But if you really attach the idea of this sort of active time or the pseudo real time while the meters are going, at the very least, I would make things like the shooting animation just like have like a projectile that's way more visible, stuff like that. Just make everything highly visible, and you might want to have things like have like damage numbers pop out of the player that kind of hover for a few seconds, that kind of thing. You know, you really got to make that feedback really clear. But as it is, I'm feeling like I can't follow what's happening. So yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he was aiming, but then he just suddenly started shooting at me. So it's the reason why that's kind of confusing to me is when I do this, I have to aim, and then when the aim action is done, I have to shoot, and that takes another period of time before the shooting happens. You know what I mean? Like there's two separate actions. They both have a time cost, whereas I didn't see him take two actions. I just saw him aiming, and then suddenly he was shooting. So I don't know if he has like a very, very short action time for shooting, or if that's just instantly after the aim finishes or something. Like I don't know what happened there. So you know, I'm missing this chunk of information where what he did is different from my experience shooting, and I don't know why. Yeah, so that also, like, if I was trying to prevent him from getting his shot off, that would have been weird, because I think he ended up shooting me before I shot him, so I don't understand why that happened. So clearly I'm missing some chunks of information here in my decision making, so I don't know how I would have like interrupted his action or whatever, even if I chose one of these other ones. I don't know, but I guess I can keep shooting. This cancels actions, but he's not currently loading anything. I don't know. This is disarm in theory. I'll try that one. All right, so I disarmed him. He might have been charging some kind of action, but again, like I didn't have time to see. Like I looked over here, and by the time I looked back, like this was, I think there might have been something here, but it's like already gone. So again, there's just stuff happening that I can't follow because I can't look at everything simultaneously and process it all. So there's just stuff to consider. Yeah, so when I was describing the idea of like doing all these pauses, like these very deliberate pauses between every action, and then having like an animation, and then continuing on again, that is one thing that would help a lot. Is like, you know, if I'm causing something he was doing to be interrupted, it would work much better to visualize that if the game actually just like paused, and then like you could see, you know, my character shoot this guy, and then you could see him get hit and he takes damage, and then you could see like his little thing like have some kind of animation showing that it got interrupted or whatever, and then that disappears. Like if you do all these things one at a time and just have the little visual elements that just take their turns popping up and giving the player this feedback, that's really the ideal way to ensure that everything that you need the player to understand is happening is getting through to the player. It's kind of, you know, you can think of any number of RPGs, turn-based RPGs or strategy, turn-based strategy games and whatever. Like they all have this very deliberate element to them, not just for the sake of eye candy, which, you know, obviously that's a thing too, but it's like every time you do something, there's like a pause, and then it shows like the character that's about to do the action, and then they have this animation, and then it shows like the person being affected, and then they're like, oh, I got hit, you know. It's like very kind of dramatic, and then it shows like the meters going down, and it's like everything is just very deliberate and very one at a time. And there's reasons for that. So hopefully you get the point. I'm sorry, I spent way too long on that. I guess he's disarmed, so I don't think he can do much. Can I maybe like brain jack? Oh, okay. Make it target allies. It does nothing on a lone target. It would be interesting to tackle a drone that's in the air. Sounds dangerous. I don't know, maybe you could just like try to grab it, but the parts of it on the underside or something with your hands instead of like grabbing the rotors. I don't know. Use them as a meat shield. Can miss. Alright, so it shows the percentage here. Oh, that's even less. So the Brainjack apparently can't miss because it doesn't show a percentage. You might want to just put 100% or something, I don't know. Now, didn't this move? Wasn't... I don't know, maybe not. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was curious if there's something I could do to make him kind of like surrender. I don't know if this drone is even capable of that. Can I arrest the drone? Double money but no items. Can miss if target has not surrendered. 27%. I have to consider reloading at some point, I guess. Okay, over here is my ammo. I haven't been looking over here at all, so... Oh, there's a music title down here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an idea, like, what to do here in terms of, like, what could be cool or whatever to this drone. It's kind of... Surrender more easily, I guess we'll do that one. Yeah. Attack feet. Oh my gosh, is he gonna like... Why is he trying to attack my feet? He's a drone. Is he gonna try and chop me with his rotors? It's so weird. Yeah, I don't know if intimidating a drone is a good idea. It's not a very logical thing, but also like there's no feedback, so it would make more sense to me, I think, if you try an action like that. If you try to intimidate a drone and it ends up being that the game that doesn't have any effect on the drone in this game, then I think you'd want to have something indicate that, like, oh, it did nothing. You know, just make it. The player needs to have some kind of feedback so they know whether what they're doing is accomplishing what they think it is, and then that kind of thing. So I could either just guess that it did nothing, or I could make like the assumption that it's actually doing something, but the game just isn't telling me. You know, I don't know. So unless you make it explicit, I can't actually know for sure what the effects of stuff is. I don't know. You just keep shooting. Shoot the feet. Shoot their chance. Now, are there ways to increase the chances of some of these things? I mean, obviously it depends, I guess, on the weapon. The weapon's accuracy, but there's also, like, I think it would be cool if you had other things you could do. I don't know, maybe there's an item at some point that could help, but things you could do, or situations that you could be in that would change some of these percentages. I think that would be cool. It would add a lot of depth, probably, instead of it just always being this particular chance for these things. I don't know, that just sounds better to me, because it's clear you can identify situations where you might want to choose one of these over the others, but that doesn't change the percentages associated with these at all. So if there's some ways you can manipulate these percentages, or particular situations would inherently change these percentages, then I think that would add some more depth to this, where it's kind of opens up more options in terms of, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but just the fact that the chances aren't associated with anything, that they're always constant, doesn't really quite work with the idea that you'd want to use these more in different situations, right? It's like the actual percentages is completely unrelated to that fact. So I don't know if that made sense to you, but that's how it works in my brain. Yeah, I don't know. He's attacking my feet. I honestly don't know what to do besides just, like, shoot him normally. So that canceled it, I guess. I don't know why, but, you know, it did. I want to know what this means, because it says you can use them as a meat shield, but what does that mean if there's only one enemy? This knocks the enemy down. Ended up working out. I don't know what this meter in the middle does at all, actually. So yeah, he's in rough shape. Can he actually get back up? I thought he was upside down at first, but it looks like he's right side up. So I'm going back to aiming. I should have stuck with the melee. I forgot about melee. I kind of wasted this time now. I guess I'll go. Oh, so these have all the same effects and the same percentages. That's interesting. So I think because this set of meters got too close to this one, that it moved up so that they wouldn't overlap. It's just kind of jarring to suddenly see this flip up here. Like, if you see motion like that, it kind of indicates to the player that the game is trying to tell you something, usually. Like, motion is usually, you know, it grabs your attention. It's like, oh, something changed. But I think it was just for this purpose, which is kind of goofy. I don't know, maybe you just want to either not move them this close together, or you can move these rectangle things, boxes, horizontally instead of vertically, to keep them from overlapping, something like that. I don't know. Alright, I bonked him. I guess it did some damage. Doesn't seem like it's that much, but I guess the gun is stronger. I don't have to aim this beforehand, right? But I don't know, like... Okay, so I think these are both action speed medium, but once you have the gun aimed, I think the shooting is fast, so that's kind of interesting. The way that works out, I guess. I don't know, let's keep doing melee though. Alright. Yeah, so that wasn't exactly hard, but it was just, you know, I'm trying to wrap my head around everything, and there's definitely some stuff slipping through the cracks here. I don't know what this looks like. Something you could click on, but I guess you can't. I'm just gonna go. Wait, let's go to the general shop. Did I take? I took some damage, right? It looks like it's only $3 to recover health. Where is my health? Oh, it's down here. Right, go on patrol again. 2 thugs lollygagging. I don't care. They're just lollygagging. Like it's not illegal to lollygag, right? Malfunctioning turret wreaking havoc. Well, that's definitely illegal. That's a Team Fortress 2 turret. I think something like that. We've got aim gun melee. So I guess in theory the melee is faster because aiming, I assume aiming and melee is the same time, but obviously you don't shoot while you're aiming, you have to shoot after you're finished aiming. But if you want to disable an enemy, it seems like melee might be the way to go if you're not already aimed, right? That seems like a logical thing. These are both 2/3, so this is disarm, and then this knocks them down and cancels their actions. So I also don't really know what disarm means and knockdown means in detail, so I would guess that if I knock them down, I don't disarm them, and they're able to get back up eventually. But if I disarm them, then maybe that's permanent, like they just never get their weapon again. Like presumably these are both like balanced options because they both have the same hit percentage, right? Cancel actions and knockdown or disarm. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one or the other. You can see there's kind of some overlap here where they're both kind of doing a similar thing, which is just disabling the target, but just in slightly different ways. So yeah, it's hard to see one as better than the other in a given situation. Even though this is kind of feels like sort of a unique enemy, like it would have some kind of a clear something that it would be weak to or something, you know what I mean? Instead of it just being like somewhat ambiguous and arbitrary what I choose. It's kind of not really, you don't really want a game like this to have arbitrariness in the options that you choose. You want it to be more, I mean, it's good to have different options, but at least have some clarity in that, you know, certain options are clearly better than others. All right, we're going for it. All right, turret is gone. Now what will you do? Now I think I should just aim with the gun because I think it just does more damage. So, all right, so this does half, but it says it does massive damage, but I don't know what massive damage means. So that missed. All right, Maybe... Okay, so... Alright, I think it does double damage, is that right? That's kind of what it looked like, just eyeballing it. So... Yeah, I mean, maybe that makes sense. It's kind of like, you know, trading a half of your hit percentage for double damage is kind of on the border there mathematically. Like you might get lucky, but you could also not. So it's kind of like usually the inconsistency of it is more of a downside than the 50% possibility that you get lucky. So I wouldn't normally go for this unless it was a particular case where the benefit was somehow greater, which would be if I knew that the next shot could kill an enemy and that was like that was going to be a big deal, that I could just kill them in one turn for some reason that was like more important, then that would kind of make sense. Now, I'm not sure how frequently that situation would come up, so if it's just... Other than that, I would say it would be better to be more consistent rather than to gamble on this, because obviously the more that you gamble, the more you just end up on the average line in terms of the statistics of it. So consistency is better. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm trying to like gauge the balance of this in a sense. Like it might make more sense for this to do a little bit more than 2x damage if it's going to half your percentages, but I'm not sure. Like I said, there could be these cases where it just being able to kill an enemy in one turn would be helpful. So I don't know. Let's go back to killing this guy. You could also just like attach some extra effect on that, so it does like 2x damage plus like a sort of like a small additional bonus of something that's other than damage. I don't know. That might tip the scales in a way that doesn't get into the damage numbers, I guess. Let's go on patrol again. All right, that's definitely illegal. Let's go ahead and fight. Leave her alone. All right, the meters are going up. So for some reason, this guy has a lower percentage than this guy with this. Seems like with everything. I don't know if that's... Okay, they have different stats, that's why. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know, it's just a bunch of numbers. It's like too many numbers for me to want to sit here and look at all of these, to be honest with you. I don't know what some of them are, like the GEVA and MEVA. It's probably evasion, I guess, melee evasion and gun evasion. Like, it seems a bit excessive maybe to have evasion for like the individual different types of attacks. Strength, endurance, intelligence, dexterity, agility. M hit, melee hit, I think. And they have like G hit for gun hit. Okay, yeah, I mean, you could definitely trim this down. I think you could just have like one stat for the accuracy and one stat for the evasion. That would be 2 less, and in my opinion, that would be an improvement. It's kind of an odd... You can't really fit 7 things together as nicely as you can 9, I guess, in this little square, but you know what I mean? Maybe you could squeeze a life in there or something. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Let's move on. I don't know. I just clicked aim gun without thinking because it's hard to make decisions. They're both aiming their guns, so we're gonna shoot them somewhere. Okay, so shooting them, apparently it doesn't seem to have any kind of effect at all other than taking their health. So I'm a little curious about that because obviously it doesn't list any disabling effects like these do, but you're also getting shot with a gun, so I don't know, something about that feels like maybe that would have some kind of effect, like maybe it would slow you down in the meter or something, but I think it just doesn't do anything except for the damage. So at this point... Alright, so here's another thing. So I can't gauge how much time I have left and what would fit in that amount of time. Like, I don't have that information. So if I want to choose something, like this is pretty tight, right? So maybe I can't, maybe there's just nothing I can fit in before he shoots. But if I'm trying to make this kind of judgment, like, okay, there's this much time I have and I want to interrupt this or something, or I want to get damage in to try and kill him or something before this goes off, I have no way of knowing what fits in this amount of time, right? So yeah, I think if there's some way you could visualize that, like if you, when you hover over something, maybe you could show some meters that show like this is what it's gonna take, like after you do this, like how far their meters are gonna go up if you take this action, something like that. I don't know. Some kind of information like this would be very helpful for making these kinds of decisions, especially with this kind of combat system you're going for here. So yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing I've seen a couple people attempt this kind of combat system. I don't think I've played it in like a large scale commercial game that I know of, but I think a lot of people have kind of thought about this and not many people have done it very successfully. So I mean, hopefully you guys do. Like, I'm definitely rooting for you, and I think you have a really good start. I could be completely wrong. There could be some games I didn't play that are like this, but I do think there's some difficulties in, particularly in the amount of information you have to have the player juggle to do this kind of thing where everything is sort of simultaneous. So I think you can kind of see where I'm kind of missing some of this, where it's just like I don't have that information, so I can't really know what to do exactly. We do have... Now, I'm guessing when it says like taking more or less aggressive actions that it doesn't affect their current action. Like, I wonder if there's something that would actually like slow down their current action or something like that. It doesn't seem to be the case. We have dodge. I haven't even used that yet. Oh, that actually seems really useful, actually, now that I think about it. So yeah, I guess if you're not in the middle of an action, then that's a good thing if you think they're about to shoot at you or whatever. It says dodge all enemies' attacks. Okay, but now I wonder, I have an evade stat. So when I read this, when it says all enemies' attacks, that my first interpretation of that would be that all of the attacks are going to be dodged, so it's like 100% chance. But then thinking about it more, just when I realize that I have a stat that's associated with evasion, that makes me think, oh, well, that they must mean all of the attacks are going to be attempted to be dodged. You know what I mean? So there's some ambiguity in this description as well. It's not necessarily clear. Let's go ahead and dodge. Oh, wait, no. Okay, he was still just aiming. Okay, all right. So I have an idea. You could probably do some color coding, some kind of visual differentiation between actions that are more and less severe or require immediate response. You know, so maybe if I was paying a little more attention and wasn't talking so much or something, I would have realized this earlier. But obviously, I didn't need to dodge his aim because he wasn't actually doing the shoot action. I wasn't thinking about that. So I got this wrong, but I think if you have some kind of a way to visually differentiate like the color of this meter, like maybe you can make it flash even if you wanted to, if it's about to do something more dangerous, whereas the aiming isn't something that's like you need to watch out for that immediately. I can't think of the right word for that, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I also okay, so here's another thing that occurs to me. If I'm not mistaken, the distance this is from the end isn't actually a suggestion of how much time it's going to take, because it's relative to how much time this particular action takes in total, right? So if this action, the shoot head action, takes like a third of the time that aiming does, that means that this spatially, this gap here would be like shorter than this gap would be, for instance, even though it appears to be longer. Does that make sense? So that's an area where I'm not really, again, like I don't know what this translates to in terms of how much time I can fit, what actions I can fit within this time, that kind of thing. I just have no idea. But I didn't even think about this until now, where it's like actually, like even this visual space isn't even consistent, so that could be meaning completely different things. So I mean, to do this the quote-unquote correct way, you might need to find a way to adjust for that kind of relative nature of the speed of this, so that these actually indicate a consistent amount of time rather than what appears to be a relative one at the moment. So I don't know, maybe like shrink the meter or something. You know what I mean? Like you could shrink it down to whatever size it needs to be, so at least it would be consistent in that way. But yeah, I as you can see, I think there's a lot of challenges that that crop up with this going down this route of this type of combat system in terms of just communicating to the player everything. So yeah, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can squeeze in something. I can try the dodge again. Okay, so unfortunately, okay, so this is interesting. So I didn't realize this until just now. Apparently when you use the dodge, there's no startup time to it. You just immediately, instantaneously start dodging. So even though it's kind of fast, that's kind of a liability in a sense. I mean, maybe that's not the right word, but the fact that it's fast means that it's easy to just like use this and and stop using it before they actually do something, right? Because the actual effect of it is instantaneous, but the amount of time it takes is kind of fast. So it's misleading in a certain sense, because I guess it's the only thing that happens instantaneously that I know of. So I think you might want to make that clearer somehow. Like technically the description makes sense, but yeah, I feel like that could be made more clear to the player what exactly is happening there. And yeah, again, I don't know how do you line this up with their things. Like I'm pretty sure at this point, if I click that again, he's actually going to do the shot and it's gonna dodge it because it's getting rather close. But until then, it's like I have no idea how to time this so that it actually coincides. It doesn't even give like an indication of how much time this takes even in the description here. So it's like, completely guessing. And it feels goofy to like click on this and just like start dodging and then you stop and they haven't even done their action yet, right? So you don't really want the player to feel goofy like that. Holy crap. Really? Okay, so now that was very weird. So he was like all the way up to here, so it's like, okay, it's time to dodge. I click on dodge, I dodge successfully, but he's all the way up here already with his next shot. That's kind of ridiculous. So I think, I mean, based on that, if he's over 50% already, then I should click dodge again and it should... Yeah, okay. That's interesting. He's going for a tackle. I guess he gave up on aiming. I don't think he ever shot anything. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess dodging twice in a row might have been the right choice. He was aiming for the head, so it was like likely to miss anyways. But yeah, I guess I wasn't expecting to successfully dodge an attack and then immediately have to dodge again. For some reason, that just didn't feel like like the way it should go. You usually, like, if you successfully dodge something, you can kind of like you can respond to them with your own attack or something at that point. But it just works out this way that he can shoot quite quickly and whatever. So he's going for a tackle. I don't know. Should I go for? He only has 3 agility, so I guess he's pretty slow, which suggests that I can maybe melee him before he gets his off. But this guy's gonna shoot me before I even charge up my melee, I'm pretty sure. So that's interesting. I don't know what I should do in this situation. There's 2 of them, and I don't. Right, so I kind of wish that some of these effects would change based on context in some way. So like if he's doing something, like if he's going in for a melee attack, maybe I could like I don't know, grapple or something this guy doing a melee attack, and it would have some kind of an additional benefit to it or additional chance to hit or something. I don't know, like, you know, it kind of makes intuitive sense that if he's going for a melee attack, that I should have some different approach to that or a different response to that, whereas everything just seems to stay the same, basically, just like a different attack, you know. Well, he is doing a tackle, so the effects of his attack are different, but the effects of my attacks are all, or my abilities in general are just all identical, even though the situation is changing. So yeah, I kind of, whoop. Okay, I clicked on that accidentally, actually. I kind of wish that some of these things would change a bit. I guess I'm going to commit to this. This guy surrendered for some reason. I guess there's some kind of RNG element to that, because he didn't seem to have a reason to. I mean, he's still pretty high in health, and his buddy's still going. There's still 2 of them. I don't know. It doesn't seem intuitive that he should surrender. Like, it's not you would expect the AI to do, so maybe it shouldn't do that in this particular situation, but I'm sure there's some randomness element in there that's just kind of sneaking in. Let's go ahead and... Now, it doesn't indicate, like, I'm guessing if I dodge that I'll have to aim the gun again afterwards. But it doesn't really indicate that dodging has any other effects besides just the dodge effect. Yeah, so now I have to aim again. Okay, he's on the ground. I assume he's just gonna... Well, this meter's still going up. I don't know what that means. Is he in the process of surrendering, or if that... Does that... What happens when that completes? I don't know what that means. He's still just right here. Oh, it says he's disarmed, but I don't know how that happened. I didn't do that, right? So did he run out of bullets? Is that what it means? I'm not really sure. Is he trying to... Oh, he's trying to aim from prone. That's interesting. Now, why the heck? I don't know what prone does. Okay, so has his stats changed? Because I'm noticing like the M hit and M evade are at 0. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his stats have changed because of the fact that he's prone now. So that's interesting. So that does mean that it suddenly makes sense for me to... Wait a minute. Oh, no. That does make sense. Okay. I was going to say, why would it being prone allow him to evade, to not evade melee attacks, but allow him to evade gun attacks? And it's because obviously it's you're talking about like at range, being prone is going to make you a lot harder to hit with a gun. Yeah, so this is interesting, but it's also kind of weird. I thought that if you missed your tackle that you would be put in a disadvantageous position, but apparently there's like advantages to going prone like that. You have... Oh, okay, so I didn't even like look at this. Can't take melee. Oh, okay. Yeah, so this is stuff that kind of works within the context of what's going on, kind of like what I was talking about before. So the other things don't really change, but this kind of, even though these don't change exactly, they're ways you can respond to what they're doing. So that's interesting. So yeah, apparently the fact that I'm aiming at him is kind of bad-ish, but I think I could still, yeah, it's still 92%. Alternatively, I could try intimidating him. Oh, okay, so he is no longer surrendering. That's very interesting. So I guess the fact that the surrender meter, I don't know what the word is, it didn't expire yet, was significant there. So all right, so I did the intimidate, and it didn't really give me any feedback as to what happened. So I kind of talked about that before. Let's go ahead and shoot some people. Go for the head, maybe. So this is weird. Oh no, okay, his evade stat is higher. It just has a lot higher stats than his friend in general. Interesting. So it's weird that this says disarmed while he's menacingly advancing with this sword in his hands. That's pretty weird. So this doesn't quite seem right. Even if he doesn't have his gun anymore, I guess that technically means he's disarmed, but usually you kind of think that he doesn't have any armament when that label is there. Go ahead and try and dodge, I guess. He's getting pretty close. Cool, and now he's surrendering again. He's like, well, I guess that failed too. Let's go ahead and... This takes a while, and this guy's gonna shoot me maybe, but... Okay, now this is interesting. So if this takes this long, does that mean if I don't use this like right at the very, very beginning of his surrendering that the surrendering is going to stop? Or I don't know what happens there, but it looks like it's like a really close race. Like if the timing was ever so slightly off, that I might fail to arrest him because he stopped surrendering before I got to do this. His buddy's shooting the hell out of me. It's not doing that much damage, but I'm gonna go ahead and proceed with this because I just want to get him out of here, kind of thing. All right, he's busted. Melee, this is what I want. Wait, what did that say? All right, so there's some words popping up. They're just too fast. I can't catch what they even say. Maybe it's a dodge. I'm pretty sure it started with a D. Honestly, I thought death, might have been the word, but that doesn't appear to be correct, so it must have been dodge, I guess. Which is kind of weird because his melee evasion is 0. So I'm not really sure how these stats are working out to have a 0 stat but still be able to dodge the attack. But I guess we just try again. He's dodging. Somehow. Apparently you can dodge while on the ground. Which is interesting. You have like a little drawing for it and everything. So I guess that just missed again. I didn't really see again what happened. Why can't he dodge? Stop missing! It's supposed to be 70%. Now he's taking cover. He shouldn't be able to like move very fast if he's on the ground, right? He's kind of floating now, which is weird. I noticed just now. Did that just miss again? Or it says he's disarmed. I don't know. See, I'm not getting enough feedback to actually understand what's happening here, but I don't think either that only went down a little bit or it just didn't hit him at all. I'm not sure. I keep clicking on techniques when I want strategy here. Alright, so now he's like spooked, apparently. I feel like this is the first time I got any feedback from doing that. But still, that doesn't really tell me anything. Like, not anything substantial. But I want him to surrender, right? So do I just keep... I don't know what it's doing. It's only 37% and super slow, so that's just not a good idea. I just want you to surrender. All right, he's flipping around. I guess this is the cover that he was taking. That looks really weird. I should change action because he's dodging, right? I think. Or I'm just aiming, so no, I should continue aiming. And he's still dodging, so I'm gonna keep my... You can dive while aiming, interesting. That's kind of cool, I guess. It's like a Matrix-style dive or something. We got take cover, which doesn't indicate that you can maintain your aim. So I'm gonna go ahead with this. He's still dodging. I think I can shoot now, maybe. I don't know how the cover is affecting. I guess I look at the stats again. I don't know. So one thing that occurs to me is if you're gonna have the stats change, apart from the fact that you should probably just like tell the player that that's happening, because I don't think they're gonna just intuitively think to keep like doing this throughout the battle, like to keep checking the stats over and over again. So that might help, but another thing is that you might want to indicate down here that the stats are being affected somehow. So you probably want to have like the base stats and then have like a addition or subtraction, and then show like the resulting stat or whatever, something like that. I mean, I know it's kind of like a lot to fit in here, but that'll make it a lot clearer that these stats that you're showing here are being affected by the environment or whatever state they're in, that kind of thing. So the player understands all of that, because it's really not being expressed. I don't know. I just gotta start shooting this guy. Wow, he dodged at the last moment. Interesting. So he's going to be in the dodge state for a while. I don't know how firing compares to how long this takes. Also, like, if the enemy is slower, does that mean the dodge takes longer? Because that kind of seems wrong. You know, like, I could understand how that would end up working that way in terms of programming, but in terms of, like, logic, it doesn't really make sense for a slower enemy to just, like, stay longer in a dodge state, avoiding damage, you know what I mean? So I'm not sure if that's the case or not, but that's... Like, I don't understand... Or do stats affect your dodge rate at all? Like, maybe it should just be that dodging always takes the same amount of time for all characters or something? Because I don't see what... It doesn't seem to make sense that a particular stat would affect that, I don't think. So yeah, this is charging way faster. Melee evasion is lower at the moment, so maybe I should have gone for melee attacks. All right. I'm gonna go for the feet. All right, I missed. He's crouching and he's behind the thing, or he's doing the crouching action, so he's not crouched yet, I guess, even though it kind of looks like he is. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Let's go for this again. So yeah, I mean, at this point I can see why you have separate stats for melee and gun hit and evasion. That kind of... It's probably not a bad thing. Now that I see it, sort of adds some of these elements that are nice to have. Did this hit him? I'm seeing blood, I guess. And his cover is gone, I guess. I don't really know what's going on, to be honest. But I guess these things are happening. And he's on the ground now instead of being crouched. I guess because I attacked his feet, it yeah, it causes knockdown. So yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, the idea of knocking someone down versus the idea of them going prone, it seems to be kind of smushed together. And it's a little weird because, like, knocking someone down sounds like a really good thing if you're not the one being knocked down, but the fact that they get some benefits from being prone because they have more of a resistance to gunfire, and they can apparently, like, shoot better, they can aim better during prone. Like, it's a little weird. So I wonder if you might want to, I don't know, maybe it's a little convoluted, but you could have them kind of knocked down, like, on their back or something, and then maybe they would, like, recover on their stomach. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's some weirdness there, because obviously there's a difference between intentionally going prone and being knocked on your ass, you know? So it's kind of confusing to me, but I kind of wanted this guy to, like, surrender, you know? I intimidated him a lot, but he's definitely drawing this fight out. I know I am too by talking a lot, but this ended up taking a long time. Oh my gosh. It's going to be a long video, obviously. It's already a long video, but it's just a lot to talk about here, as well as the game just kind of progressing slowly. So I think I hit him for some damage. He should be pretty spooked. 55%. So it says disarm. He's apparently not armed at the moment, so I guess that would just do nothing if you shoot him in the hand, or does this? Because it doesn't say it cancels actions. It only says shooting the feet cancels actions. So it doesn't explicitly say if I shoot him in the hand that he's going to stop picking up the gun, even though that would make sense in the real world, you know. So that seems kind of weird. I want to. I'm not shooting him. I'm hitting with a sword, but I want to see what happens. Oh. I'm pretty sure I hit him in the hand, right? So again, it would be nice to have some kind of, like, a battle log or something that says, like, okay, you hit him in the hand. Just describe what's happening. But I think I hit him in the hand, and then he canceled his action and now he's prone again. I don't know what's going on. Let's do a normal attack here. Splat. Alright, I mean, you should probably surrender by now. It's pretty hard to arrest guys unless they surrender, it seems, because not only is it so time consuming, but this percentage doesn't seem to budge. Unless they actually surrender. So if it's just a matter of RNG, that seems kind of frustrating, perhaps, because I just have no idea how many times I might have to just, you know, do intimidate before they finally surrender. So if it's my goal to be that kind of a player where I want to do the merciful action and the game is RNGing so much that it like isn't letting me do that, that seems like a bit of a problem. Like if you want that to be, because you explicitly stated you wanted that to be part of the game where you could be more merciful or not. So yeah, it seems like it's a bit of an issue if you end up in these possible situations where the game just doesn't let you do that, even though you keep trying to. Like if that's your goal to. I don't know. I mean, I can understand in real life somebody might just never surrender. That makes sense. But if it's, you know, we're talking about a game here, so if you have this element where you can you can achieve one of two different ways of victory, right? Like the sort of merciful way or the aggressive way, then you kind of have to give the player the ability to do either one, right? Like he's just not doing any. Oh, never mind. He's surrendering. Okay, well, let's go for it. All right, so I don't remember. Surrendering makes you get, was it like you get more money but no items? I think that's what it was. Something like that. Let's make sure my health is okay. I don't need ammo. I should probably get like a different gun or something, right? Alright, so this just occurred to me. You have these transitions, they're a little bit long, so this is kind of like a really common thing that people do, like amateur developers, is not only amateur developers, but making your menu transitions long. It's kind of like one of those really fundamental things that a lot of people don't know about. So the first couple of times you see this, it's like, oh, that's flashy, it's stylish, that's cool. Once the player's been playing this game for any amount of time, they're not going to care about what that transition animation looks like anymore because they've seen it 100 times. All they want is to get into the next screen. So even though this might seem like it's nice and quick to you, it's one of these things where it's like the transition's never quick enough. You know what I mean? So yeah, you don't want to waste the player's time. It is just sort of frustrating. It just kind of makes the game feel slower and it's annoying in general. So really simple thing you can do is just make that nice and snappy to get to the next screen. What did oh, the shopkeeper. So I have to click on thing here instead of it just taking me into the screen, which is interesting. Restock, what does that even mean? Oh, that just does different stuff. Okay, well, I don't know what customize does either. I don't think I've looked at this before. Oh, so I can like mod things that I have. Change the name. That sounds like a good idea. A bonus +5. That sounds like a big bonus, but I guess it's kind of pricey. Interesting. That's cool, I guess. What is over here? Oh, there's perks. 1% of max HP per second. Now, is that a second? Isn't something I've encountered in this game before, so I guess that might mean during the active time, like a real world second, but only during the active time. I'm guessing that's what that means. 2-shot. Can't be killed if above 1 HP. Oh, that's interesting. So presumably that means if you take what should be lethal damage, it puts you to 1 HP. Wow, okay. That sounds very powerful. I'm not sure in the context of the gameplay what plus 10 seconds looks like, but there's no like downsides associated with this either, so um that seems like a really big boost that lasts a good amount of time. Yeah, that does make me wonder, like, what is a second? Is it like is every turn like a certain number of seconds? Is it like 2 or 3 seconds or something? Like if I just knew that, that would give me a better idea of what that means in this menu here, you know. Oh, okay. I wonder why these perks seem to be so powerful. Like maybe some point in the future the plus 10 is going to be like a number that doesn't matter as much. But right now it's like it seems massive, right? Um, so that's, I mean, interesting concepts. I'm not sure if it's balanced or not, but you know, it's early game. I mean, early development. Oh, the damage needed to cancel your actions. So does that indicate that just raw damage can cancel actions? It's not only particular types of attacks? Because I never knew that, so you know, that's interesting. I mean, it makes sense. It seems reasonable. I didn't know that was a thing. Um, mm, yeah, I mean that would be good to know. It also makes me think more about that headshot thing where maybe it could potentially cause a cancellation if your weapon was strong enough or something. I'm not sure. It says you. I mean, this is talking about your actions, but if it's universal, then only 25% of max HP is necessary. Cancel an action. I don't know. Might make that headshot look a lot more um, attractive. Increases all stats by 1. Okay. Now, can you have more than one perk or not? Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So, like, a lot of these look like really powerful. Now, are these different depending on what kind of item you're modifying, or I don't know? They just seem like, I guess this one says iron abs, so that would seem to be associated with this torso thing. Like, is this an actual torso that I'm buying, and like I'm swapping out my whole torso or something? I don't know, but let's back out of this. I want to go into the equipment shop and barter. Let's try to get something different here. What is that? Jacked baton. Experimental technology brain jacks the enemy for a short while. This sounds fun. The cryo sword slows target down with cold. Reduce enemy's action bar. Pyro dagger. Distracting pain. Reduces the enemy's turn bar. So we have action bar and turn bar. I don't really, I don't know. I don't quite understand how those two concepts interact here. Deals double damage to grabbed enemies. Okay, so if you do the grapple, it said it lets you use enemies as a meat shield, and then I guess you can stab them with the sword while you're holding them to you. Um, it's kind of brutal, but it makes sense, I think. 13 damage. Yeah, I guess. I mean, Mercy Dagger. Made to break spines. It sounds very merciful. Deals double damage to prone enemies. That's cool. So yeah, I like the effects. The different effects have some some interesting ways. What am I saying? The effects, like the different states that the enemies can go into in the player during battle can have some interesting effects in terms of how they affect the stats, and like you might choose melee or not. It does seem like there's room for more, like I was talking about a while back, but I definitely like the little bits of depth I'm picking out here. I don't know, it does a lot more damage. Oh wow, that does way more damage, right? Quite a bit. But it's just not special, I suppose. That's an arm. Doubles the speed of the grapple action. Alright, sure, let's we'll get the grapple going. Let's get the mercy killer, is that what it was? No, there's the killer sword. Let's do a little build here. It's a little okay, it's kind of annoying how it was kind of automatically changing the filter over here. Rather it just stayed here because I want to see all the things I'm buying. Let's go ahead and I guess let's just drag that over here generally. 13 damage has a special perk, which I can't read here. Okay, so I have to hover over here and then look in the bottom left. So yeah, we'll try this. So there's no speed element associated with the different weapons except for the reload time. I guess I'll get that just to make things go faster. But, yeah, I mean, I guess this doesn't end up being that crazy if it's only double damage to 13, whereas like the gun can do 26 just normally. Okay, so I noticed that when I drag things over there, they're not like the things I had equipped aren't going back into my inventory. So that's weird. I'm not sure if that's a bug or just something that hasn't been properly implemented yet. It's possible that it's like automatically selling it, but I don't think that would make sense because I'm not really telling the game to do that. Like I would expect if I equip something that the thing I have equipped just goes back in the inventory. So I don't know what's going on there. Pick up gun action, so if I get disarmed, I'm gonna want that back. Oh my gosh, doubles the speed of the aim action. That's pretty good. Anything related to grappling? Increases dexterity by -1. Okay. I'm assuming that's a typo. I also don't know. I guess dexterity would have to do with... Actually, I have no idea. Because you have separate stats for like hitting with your melee and your gun weapons. So you would think that the hit... Oh. Wait, what's going on down here? Strength melee damage, melee hit percentage heavily, and gun hit percentage slightly. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is... I was not understanding what I was reading. Okay, apparently so. On the left it says strength. This is strength and then colon and then melee damage. So like all of these on this line is talking about what strength affects. So it's not really... It didn't really write it out what exactly it was saying here, everything. So it was kind of like shortening things. So it was a little confusing at the moment. But so strength affects melee damage, melee hit percentage heavily, and gun hit percentage slightly. So I see. Grab, tackle, and arrest hit percentage. So apparently you only have 5 stats, and then you have 4 more that are derived from them. So I didn't realize that before now, but apparently that's how this is set up. So I guess that makes sense. It's just a little confusing because there's, like, you look at this and it doesn't really suggest that like 5 of them are your real stats and then 4 of them are a derivative. So yeah, it made me wonder, like, why do you have dexterity if you have these and whatever. So what does it say for dexterity? It says gun damage, gun hit percent, melee hit percent, brain jack, duration, and arrest hit percent. So yeah, this is pretty complicated in the end, because all of these things affect multiple things. All right, well, what does intelligence even do? Turn bar fill speed, evasion, slightly, taunt and intimidate, efficiency. So my intelligence is at 10. I don't know. I got money to spend. Let's just plug in a brain implant. Just chose a random one. We've got hand implants, which decrease stuff as well as increasing stuff. $1 for this. Huh? Maybe the color is the rarity. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, this just looks like a flesh color, so it's kind of like what you would expect. And then I see the red ones, and it's like, well, that looks like a bad thing, right? Because it's red, and red means bad, so it's like I can't use that one or something. I don't know. Doubles the speed of the pickup gun action, doubles the speed of the aim action, which is super strong. But I wanted something to do with grappling. Oh, it's an interesting effect. I didn't know grappling would force you to crouch. Oh boy, I'm tired. This is the epic long playtest of this demo day, I suppose. So, dexterity. Which one affects, oh, the grab. Okay, so strength affects grab, which I think is called grapple. I think you kind of switched the words around there. You usually want to keep your words consistent. But I guess I want more strength for the grappling. Whatever, let's just go ahead and buy that. We got some stuff. Let's go ahead and back out. Let's go fight at least one more time. A thug selling sexual services. Okay. I think I'd rather fight someone else. Let's go on patrol. A strange drone following you. What do you do? Now, I don't... I imagine this process will be changed before the finished game is out, but it seems a little weird to click go on patrol, and if you ignore something, that it just goes back to the screen. Like I would kind of expect one of two things. Like either this just keeps giving me more things until I decide to fight, or it would at least like let me go through a few of them, right? It kind of depends on what else you plan to do here in the screen. Because as of right now, in the current state of this, there's not really any purpose to go back to here. Like once I've decided to go on patrol, like I've already done whatever I want to in these shops. Like nothing is changing here, so like whatever happens here isn't gonna... Actually didn't mean to click on that. Interesting how the little collider that I could click on the fight button was like really close to the ignore button. I think you might want to adjust that a bit, so like if I click close to the ignore button, it doesn't accidentally hit the fight button, because that could be really bad. But I think you see what I mean, where it doesn't really make sense to go back into the out of the screen. Once you decide to go on patrol, it's like at that point, the only thing you have left to do is to find someone to fight. So, yeah, we got 3 dudes. I don't remember what it said they were doing, but I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, so we're gonna try out, let's just go right for it, not melee attack. Let's go and grapple someone. Let's check their stats. That guy has a lot of health. So that's the beefiest dude. Clearly. Let's go for him, I guess. I guess trying to take cover. Oh, he's trying to tackle me. Gotcha. And then I go poking him, right, with the... Alright, this is goofy, so I mean, I don't think I have to explain. This is not really how I want this interface to look right now. I think that this is actually... No, this is actually the guy I want to attack. He's the guy I'm grappling right now, right? Like this is clearly very dysfunctional. I can't even see the percentage of like this guy or anything. But I believe I want to stab this person. Maybe I just go for the head. Actually seems like if you're grappling a guy, maybe you should get some kind of a benefit to your melee attack percentages or something. Seems logical. He's trying to attack my head from being grappled. That's interesting. Now, if I'm grappling him, does that mean that he gets some kind of a melee bonus against me? It says his gun hit is down to 0, so I guess that means he can only do melee. I don't know if he got a bonus. I think his stats actually went down, but it does suggest that he can't shoot me while I'm grappling him. His gun evade is 4 though, so it's interesting. Alright, I think it said miss. Yeah, it definitely missed, so that's too bad, but he's trying to attack my head. These guys are aiming their guns. They're gonna... The gun shooting is pretty fast for the enemies, so this seems... I kind of wonder if that might be a problem, just the fact that you can shoot so fast once you finish aiming. Because that means like having multiple enemies that can kind of just rain bullets at you. Just be something to look out for. Maybe that ends up being kind of weird in terms of balance. In the end, I really want to stab him in the head with this thing, so... Okay, so he misses with his attack. And then now he's trying to grapple me, which is interesting. I think because I have him grappled that if these guys shoot at me, they might hit him, right? That's the idea. Wait, what happened? So he finished aiming. He finished aiming. Now they're not doing anything because this meter hasn't filled up yet, which is confusing to me. But see if I can attack this guy's head. He's going into crouch. Alright. It said cancel. Something got canceled. He got smashed. That was a lot of health. Yeah, so another thing I'd like to see is just, I know I'm getting into the really nitty-gritty things here, but in terms of the feedback, you know, if you ever implemented some kind of a list of like a battle log, like I was saying, that just explains everything that's happening, I'd like to see some kind of feedback that there was like extra damage applied because of the weapon I used, maybe. You know, like in Pokemon, if you get a, like if you attack with the right type of attack, it says it's super effective. You know, it's just important to have that kind of feedback. Yeah, so that was good, and I guess I can just do a body attack now, and it should pretty much kill him, because that looks almost like 2/3. It might be not quite enough. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I guess there's no helping it. It looks like I'm going to beat him to this attack as well. He's trying to shoot the feet. I think... Yeah, it looks like I got shot. Even though I have him as a meat shield. So, again, it's like... Not really getting the feedback I need. I don't know how the meat shield effect works. Like what the percentages of that is or anything. Interestingly, it doesn't appear to change my gun evade stat from what I can tell. So that might be... I don't know if you... Maybe you want the gun evade to go up if you have a meat shield? I don't know if that's the way you want to do that or not, but... That would be a way to do it, I guess. Like if you, maybe your gun evade stat goes way up, and then if they miss, they hit him instead. I don't know, but yeah, it's just, you know, more stuff where I'm just not really getting this information. Like I don't know how mathematically the effect of having him grappled here is affecting my chances of getting shot and that kind of thing. So let's keep going. This is really close in the end. So yeah, there's some numbers that popped up. I could not read them whatsoever, or numbers or words or whatever. But he got hit. I think, I guess it canceled his action because he started over, maybe, or maybe he tried, but it. Oh, maybe he hit me. I don't know, because I think I lost more health. I'm not really sure. I don't know what happened, unfortunately. So yeah, I don't really have any choice except to just try and kill him now with this. So somebody shot and missed. This guy's coming with his melee. Oh, come on. Alright, so maybe I should... I don't know how long this is going to take, but I think... Oh, wait, no. I don't know what happened. Okay, I'm still doing this. Something happened, I couldn't tell what it was. Maybe he tried to attack. I don't know, but let's get that off. Okay, are these completely overlapping now? Because he's not dead, right? He's still upright, but I don't see his thing anymore. His meters, whatever they are. But I guess I dropped him. I'm crouching now, I guess. For some reason. He's trying to attack me in the head. I think I want to probably not aim because I think I want to try to dodge. It says dodge roll, which I guess is because I'm crouching, maybe? Oh, but crouching affects my melee effectiveness, so I think I want to stand up. This only helps against gun attacks. Alright, we're gonna stand up. Oh! I kind of thought that would be a little quicker. Alright, there we are, and then now it's time to dodge. There we go, that worked out. Now he's aiming. It's quite quick. So I think I want to aim at him, or... yeah, that guy's definitely dead, right? Interesting. I might... I'm gonna take cover, I guess. Alright, so I should be more defensive against... oh yeah, way more. The gun evasion went way up. Hide behind cover, dodge all enemies' attacks, while this action. Alright, so... I can crouch down, but it looks like I'm already crouching. And I can stand up, but... okay, so it's weird to be able to choose both of these, because I would expect that if I'm crouching I wouldn't be able to stand up, but if I'm standing I wouldn't... wait, no, I said it wrong. Okay, so if I'm crouching I wouldn't be able to select crouch down again, but if I'm standing I wouldn't be able to select this one, so I don't know. It's a little confusing what's going on there. Yeah. So he's probably not going to hit me with that. Okay, never mind. That seemed rather unlikely, but it happened in the end. So that's too bad. Not sure what the chances of that were, but I got RNG'd. I guess I'll go back to aiming. Maybe I'll use a med thing. Oh, I got grenades too. No bonuses to hit chance for 10 seconds. That's interesting. Alright, let's do some of this. Oh, it takes a while. It takes a while, holy cow. Because I can do a lot of damage in that amount of time, especially if there's like 3 guys all trying to shoot me or something. I feel like this should be faster. Usually when you have like healing items, it's one of those things you want to make sure the player can use them quickly, because if the enemies are dealing more damage to you than you're healing, then it's like, what is even the point of that, right? Thankfully I'm behind the cover here, so that's gonna help me out, which is kind of nice. I mean, the idea like you're gonna do better healing yourself if you're behind cover rather than just doing it out in the open, that makes sense. But yeah, it does seem to take a while in terms of the amount of time it took in this context. I guess we're aiming again. This person's gonna try to attack me. I don't know if I can finish the aim before he can, maybe? Looks like I will, but now I need to dodge. Just gonna cancel my aim. Holy cow, he's charged so much of his tackle after doing the dodge. Yeah, so this is awkward because I can't do melee. I can only attack with the gun. I guess I want to get out of the cover then, because aiming takes so long that like I'm gonna get messed up by this kind of thing unless I just wait and then keep dodging. But like they have so much time to do their next attack after I dodge. Again, it feels pretty weird. Just the way the dodge works and the amount of time it takes and stuff is just sort of an awkward thing. I almost wonder if you might want to have some kind of a penalty if you successfully dodge that the enemy has to take in terms of timing. Like, I don't know, maybe they're just like off balance or something. I don't know if that makes sense. Obviously it would probably apply to the player as well. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but I don't know. But yeah, it is a little weird when you dodge someone and they're already like halfway done with their next attack before you finish your dodge. It's just something about that doesn't feel right to me. So maybe it seems like I want to be standing if I want to do anything melee, right? I guess we're just gonna stand up and then dodge again because I have to. All right, so he's on the ground. So awkwardly enough now, I definitely want to go at him with melee, right? Now what if I can grapple the guy on the ground, which is interesting. I think I'm gonna try grappling this guy. No, I guess you can keep doing melee attacks to like the other guy after you grappled someone. So he's grappled, and I think I can just like attack him, which is kind of weird, with melee while I'm grappling this person. It doesn't seem very logical, but I'm just gonna smack him up. Actually, it occurs to me I would do better to just like oh no, okay, I can't, the game doesn't let me change my target for melee. Oh, that's not good. Alright, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to cancel this and attack him with the melee instead because of the weapon I have, you know. So it definitely seems like I should be allowed to do that, but the way you have the UI set up, it's apparently not possible. So that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I literally either, I don't know, maybe I could have done a different action, but I'm just gonna go ahead with this, I guess. I did something. I guess he got hit. He's trying to attack my body. He's probably gonna succeed at that. I'm gonna attack his body because it should hurt quite a bit. He's trying to grapple me back, which is interesting to like counter grapple. Like I guess I canceled his action and now he's doing a different one. He's trying to shoot me. I'm hoping the meat shield effect is going to come into play. I don't think I've seen that happen yet. There's blood everywhere. That's ridiculous. Oh. Throw the grappled enemy so he'll be prone while you will be crouching. Interesting. The prone effect is definitely weird to me. The way you get the bonuses and stuff. Like, I know they're more vulnerable to melee, but I don't feel like it's really... Like, I can manipulate them, like, for instance, I can do the throw so that he'll be on the ground, but I don't feel like I'm necessarily getting much of a benefit out of that, because they might have debuffs, but they also get buffs at the same time. That seems to kind of balance out, so it seems weird to want to get them on the ground like that. It seems like if I'm doing that, I should get some kind of a benefit out of that more clearly rather than the way it is now. If that makes sense to you. I don't know what this would... Cancels actions. That makes sense, actually, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Can you... Okay, you can't dodge while you're holding him, so that would be a reason why you'd want to do that. That's cool. That makes sense. Strategy, though, I've got Wait, Taunt, Intimidate. I'm going to try intimidating this guy. See what that does. I don't know. And then... I don't... Yeah, my agility isn't... Wait, why is it... Oh no, I'm trying to hover over this guy. It's showing me the stats of the dead guy. I didn't even know he was still there. So that's... Yeah, this seems really broken. The way that some of the stuff overlaps here. I can't even... I guess I can go over here, so I guess... Okay. So tell me his stats. So yeah, I don't think I'm fast... Well, I might be... I don't know if I'm fast enough to sneak an attack in before his comes out, but... Yeah, I don't know. What should I do? If I think I can't squeeze an attack in, then maybe I should just wait, or I should try to... Maybe I should wait and then release him, you know what I mean? And try to, like... I assume that this stacks. Like, he's already got this effect, right? I guess it increases now, like the little visual. But I don't know, like, is there just like... Are there only like 2 levels of that, or does it just keep stacking if I keep doing it? I don't really know how that works. Did that cancel his thing? Or he was just aiming, I think. So he's still attacking me. Maybe I should just go ahead and release him now, which is here. Oh. Okay. So, alright, I guess for some reason I assumed that releasing him wouldn't have a time associated with it. Like, it would just happen sort of instantly. So this is kind of weird. I wasn't anticipating this taking time like this, so this kind of ended up being pointless because I didn't avoid... I wanted to stop him from doing this attack. I guess I can change action now and keep him grappled. So he's surrendering now, but I might not get to him. I don't think I can... I guess like... Oh! Wait a minute. What? Okay, so I don't think this is intended. So I clicked on arrest and it didn't let me choose a guy. So I don't know. Like, I think she might be trying to arrest him, but I don't think it's supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to click on that and then click on a person. But it didn't let me do that, so I don't know if that was a bug or something. But what am I doing? This is... I'm just gonna I'm gonna double down. Let's just see what happens. Okay, so he got a hold of me. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and smack him until he lets go, I guess. Oh, okay, so I'm assuming that the game is like I can only do this to this one character, so the game is just deciding for me. So this is definitely not something you want. If all the way up until now, I've always been able to click on this and then like check the percentages of, you know, the hit percentages at the very least by looking at these, and then I can decide if I want to do it or not. At the moment, not only is it changed the rules of this, which is already kind of throwing me for a loop because I'm not expecting it to do this, but I can't even see the percentages of the actions because the only way to see them is during that screen when you're selecting one of the enemies. So you definitely don't want it to be this way where the game just says, oh, you can only choose one of them, so it's just going to automatically go with that guy, because it's not what I want to do here. So he's going for the gun. That missed. I have no idea what the percentage was because it wouldn't tell me, like I mentioned. Now, I guess. Yeah, let's just go back with this. I think that's the thing to do here. Uh-oh, bit of a race there. All right, I got him. $52%. All right. He's diving to the ground. All right, kill the guy. Let's go for this person. So yeah, stuff's pretty slow. I mean, that's maybe just the nature of this type of game. Unfortunately, like even some of the suggestions I made about how to make things, the feedback a lot clearer, it involves adding a lot more pauses and, you know, dragging things out further, which would unfortunately make things even slower. But again, kind of like what I said before, just this style of gameplay, I'm not sure if anyone's really done it very well or not, just because there's so many sort of hurdles to overcome with the design of this kind of thing. So not saying you can't do it. That's not my point. I'm just saying, you know, these problems exist and they're hard to deal with in a way that you necessarily want to do. Like sometimes there's stuff that you have to change that's like making the game work in ways you didn't really want it to, and stuff like that. And yeah, just the amount of information you have to give to the player and all that stuff is just a lot. So I don't know, let's just keep going with stuff. I don't know why I clicked on aim. I'm just doing it without thinking. That was actually the wrong thing, and now that I think about it, because it's not likely to hit, at least not as likely. I don't know, let's go ahead and hope that we can kill this guy. Oh, he's trying to surrender. Whatever, I'll just kill him. Goodbye. All right, hostiles neutralized. All right, I should probably wrap this up. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I can definitely see, I mean, there's a lot of depth that can emerge from this, right? I think there's a lot more here than what's in the game so far, which I'm sure that the players, I'm sorry, the developers are interested in exploring probably a lot more stuff. I'm really actually interested in like the feeling of this part when you're doing this kind of stuff. I like this sort of menu-driven thing where you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So like you go and patrol and it's like there's so many possibilities, like different events that could happen here. And currently it's not really anything, right? It's just you know, just some mild randomization, and then you just fight some random enemy. But there's clearly a lot of potential for depth here where you might be able to make some interesting decisions. There could be interesting things to happen, and you know, there's other games that do that, and this is something I like quite a bit. So I think that'll feel really nice if you explore that more, where hopefully in a way that's fun and not like I don't know, the Fast and Light. It's like in that game, it's like the chances of you just screwing yourself over are so high. You know, it's all RNG. Like maybe you don't want to do that so much, but I like the idea of having this kind of menu-driven exploration where all these interesting events can happen, and maybe they do different things. But and yeah, there's clearly plenty of room for depth in the combat. I think it just comes down to mostly it's all just the feedback and the information that you have to deliver to the player. You know, that's what I'm lacking right now. So it makes it really hard to make a lot of decisions in a way that I feel confident about. But you can definitely see the beginnings of something here, and I like the dodge. I think dodging is just something that feels good in games in general, but in turn-based games it usually doesn't. Usually. Like, the idea of it is great, but just, you know, the nature of turn-based games is it's pretty much just, you know, taking that element out where you can react to things directly. You pretty much just get hit by whatever the enemy is doing, and then you do your thing and you hit them, you know, and dodging doesn't necessarily work well in that context. It might be able to, but usually not really. But I think the way that we have this sort of the time element, and then the way that the things are happening simultaneously, and you can kind of see when something's about to go off, and then you can kind of sneak your little dodge move in there, that actually feels really good in this context. So I think that's something that kind of stood out to me, like, oh, that's really cool. You know, so yeah, I like what you got going here, but it does seem like it's gonna have some challenges in terms of fitting in all of the information that the player really needs in the combat there, and it might end up making things pretty slow. But you know, there's a lot of stuff you can definitely do, so I definitely encourage you to experiment with all of that kind of stuff and see how that turns out. But as it is, I'm definitely lacking a lot, so hopefully this was useful for you. It was probably a lot of video to go through just to get that, but I enjoyed playtesting it. So let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.